race fans, and welcome to this video which is covering all the action from the round 6 finals of the 2024 URL Karting Championship, which took place at Parkwood. So a quick update on the championship standings following the qualifying sessions. It's D Miller who leads the way by 18 points from Tom Davison. The two in separate quali heats both matched each other, winning both races. McLaughlin then 12 points in behind. It's then the Chef in P4, just a point ahead of Elliott, was just 5 points ahead of Was. We've then got Horton, Glover, Cave are all absent from this round entirely. We've then got G Miller just 5 points behind this group of drivers, so he'll be hoping to make some places up here with a decent result, though he is in the B final, just ahead of Divine. Housley then another one that's absent, but McDermott will make up a place regardless of his finishing position, giving just an 11-point gap in behind him in P13. So here's your starting grid for the B final. So it's G Miller, who just missed out by a single point on the A final, leads this group away ahead of Divine, ahead of Was, who this is the first time here that he's missed out on the A final. He's a bit disappointed with that, but could only manage P4 finishes in both his quali heats, which left him in the B final starting P3, with Paddy starting P4 in this one. So we do have some footage from this final as well. So here the drivers lined up on the grid, and it was a bit of an agonising wait. Tensions building as you sit there in the car waiting for the lights to change. And eventually it's lights out and away we go. And it's Divine on the left hand side who gets the better launch there over Gary, who started on pole, but how will they come back up the hill? Gary had the inside line as he managed to hold on. Divine's managed to switch and keep the inside line on the run back up the hill, pushing G Miller wide. He's into the wall, and then Paddy tries to avoid them and he spins, so Was is through. There's some action there in the middle. Was on the outside trying to find a way through, and G Miller makes the most of that as those two interact with each other up at the front, Divine and Was. And then G Miller hits that wall again on the outside. We've seen him do the same thing in qualifying, and Was makes the most of it. Was too busy looking at the cameraman, almost missed the move there on the inside by the pole sitter. Squeezed him into the wall, just managed to hold him off. Was there, you can see, fumbling about. He had some issues with his suit coming undone that he was trying to strap back up as he was going round the circuit. Paddy there coming past, he's finally recovered from his incident. And then Divine, a decent, healthy lead now, as these two come flying round at bumper to bumper as Gary chases Was down into turn 1. What can we do on the way back up the hill? Can he switch back on him? I'll put you on the outside. You can see Was still trying to fix the issues with the suit flapping, and it's distracted him enough that he's run wide and touched the outside wall there, and Gary gets through, and they seem to be closing that gap on Divine too as they come back round to complete this lap. Plenty of drama in the opening couple of laps there. So Gary did eventually catch Divine and get past. Was couldn't do the same, he stuck with P3. Divine though on his way did set the quickest lap by 0.01 seconds, so he gets the bonus point from this group for that one. Paddy couldn't recover, he was doing his best to avoid an incident, and unfortunately left himself facing the wrong way early doors in that race, which is a real shame for him. So then we move on to the A final, and it's Davison who has pole, Miller starting alongside him. Those two obviously won both their quali heats, so it'll be interesting to see them go head to head. And then McLaughlin P3 right in behind, ready to pounce if there's any squabbling up front. Chef and Elliott have both been really close as well this entire time. They start 4th and 5th in this one. So here we go, we jump on board as it's just a run from the pit lane straight to the grid slot. Davison just ahead of us on the right. Look round, we get a thumbs up from Davison. McLaughlin takes up his position. Chef's the man right behind us. We're told to watch for the lights. You don't quite catch them on the helmet cam, unfortunately. But you'll certainly know when they change. And there you go, we're away. It's a pretty even launch, shaking the car, trying to get any extra momentum. We're on the outside, coming into the corner. Oh, and Davison, in trying to outbrake each other, Davison locks up, spins as a raised fist as we sweep through round the outside to take the lead of the race. What can Davison do in terms of a recovery from there? Just both trying to brake as late as possible, and Davison just had to put a little bit too much on that left-hand pedal, and the car just wasn't happy, squirmed into the corner, and that cost him enough. It gave us the run up the hill. So lap 1 ends and we lead the race. Lance back just then, and you can see all the karts are still very much fighting in behind. The more they battle, the bigger favour it does for us. So we come round here, we end lap 2. And we did get some off-board footage, so we'll jump away and see how it looked from the sideline. I have the blue suit and the white helmet starting P2. So you sort of just disappear from view a little bit, and then we're coming back up the hill and the order's changed. Up into P2. Davison does hold for P2. Oh, there's a bit of a squabble there between McLaughlin and Elliott. The order has changed. Elliott's got past Chef, hasn't he, at the start there? Made the most of in the inside line. And there you go, it's myself from Davison, McLaughlin, Blake, and then Chef will filter through. So we jump back onto the onboard, but we've got footage sped up because you don't, unfortunately, see a right lot from my POV for the next few laps. So we'll just run it at this increased speed so you can get a feel for how the race was panning out. As I think we'd taken at this point, there'd been some drama in behind. Davison at one point ended up right at the back of the pack. There was a bit of a collision, we think. There you go, we just see him come past there. He'd had a bit of a collision with McLaughlin, we think, in a bit of a tangle between them two, which dropped him back, and then he had another bit of a collision with Elliott, and trying to fight his way back through as well. So he'd really been in the wars after starting on pole. I think we'd taken at this point to putting as much pace through that corner as possible and trying to slide wide towards the spectators at the sideline. Almost got it quite wrong there, all the way onto the hatched yellow section. Quite a rough ride when you get out there, and dangerously close to that outside wall that we saw Gary hit in one of the qualifying sessions. It's deep into there. But as you can see, the other lads they're not far behind. It's not a big gap by any means, any sort of mistake, and they're right there to capitalise, and they're still all quite close together. McLaughlin was very much catching at this point, so I think we sort of realised that after a couple of laps of messing around with the kart and sliding it through that final corner, that perhaps we actually had to get his head down, and there's the bonus point on offer for the fastest lap that we really need to go and try and chase, because every point counts in this championship. Bit of a shake of the head as we came around the corner there. Not happy with the momentum we carried through that corner. Marshall still on the inside yet. He's not made his wander to the outside to the finish line to raise the checkered flag for us quite yet. See now the Marshall has changed position. He's over there, he's by the start finish line. The lad's still bearing down behind us. Look, McLaughlin has closed that gap. He's only a sort of couple of corners, only maybe even a single corner behind at this stage. He has been really quick towards the end of this session. But there goes the flag, and there raises the finger, as that's a clean sweep. Wins in both quali sessions and then in the final here. Very happy with that one. Can't ask for much more than that. It's Elliott in the barrier there somehow after the flag has fallen. So we take a look at how that final finished, and McLaughlin was quicker by nearly a tenth of a second, 0.07 quicker. Davison a couple of tenths down, and then Sheff did manage to get back past Elliott. Davison obviously fell to the back at one point, as we mentioned. He had to fight his way back through and recovered for a podium position. They were really close all the way through, but Elliott just pipped in the end by the Sheff. So what does that mean for the championship standings? Well, the gap does increase this time by just 2 points, as Tom finished P3 and we won the race. So it's now a nice round 20-point gap there, and McLaughlin getting P2 and the fastest lap gave him 2 points as well over Davison in that race. So he's closed to a nice round 10 points. Sheff then 48 behind, he sits P4. He got the better of Blake, so it extends that gap. There's now 2 points between them. Was 8 points behind those two, having been in the other final. Gary, who won the B final, that was more than enough for him to jump those that were absent today, so he moves up 3 positions into P7 as Horton, Glover and Cave all fall an additional 1. Those 3 separated by just 3 points still. Devine closes that gap ahead as Paddy jumps ahead of Housley, who's also absent, and then those further down were all as they didn't attend this round. So thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this one. At the time of recording is actually race day again, so we head back to Parkwood for another round. Horton, Glover and Cave all in attendance this time, so that should make it a really exciting one. Was the only driver from the top 11 absent for round 7, and there's a real group of death being drawn, so make sure you catch that one, because there should be some real excitement out on track tonight.